And one thing for sure, you're not the star student of the month, right? Nate Osgood, 6-year fire chief here in Sylacauga, our guest this morning. Nate, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Jimmy Dale.
Good to have you with us. It's National Fire Prevention Week. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But so far, so good in 2025 for the fire department, right?
Yeah, we're maintaining status quo. Our guys are we're fully staffed. We've got no vacancies, and we always our vision statement is excellence and efficiency in public service. So we feel like we're meeting that. Being excellent and being efficient anytime the public needs us. You're
blessed to have a full staff, that's for sure. A lot of fire departments don't have that luxury.
Well, I mean, isn't that just worldwide? It doesn't matter what kind of career field you're in. So the guys that I have working in the fire department, man, it's you can't be on top without having a great support system, and we definitely have that.
Yeah, let's talk about Fire Prevention Week. Give us some tips on preventing fires.
Yeah, so Fire Prevention Week was kind of founded in October to remember the Great Fire of Chicago that happened in 1871.
How old were you then?
And exactly, yes. So the whole idea of Fire Prevention Week, every week is Fire Prevention Week, but the whole idea of having it in the month of October and this week is just to kind of keep it on everybody's forefront of their mind.
I guess you guys have been busy with educational tools this week.
Yeah, we enjoy going to the different schools and COVID, ever since COVID, things have been a little different on that front for us, but we certainly try to make all the appearances we can. I think we're going to the Comer Library on next Tuesday to talk to a group there, and we've done several school groups. So it's always fun to interact with the kids and kind of give them the show and tell. But as far as fire safety in the home is concerned, the number one thing that we stress all the time is have working smoke detectors. That is the number one life-saving tool in the event of a fire.
And how many of us neglect that in our homes?
Right, exactly. And now they actually have smoke detectors that have internal batteries. They have a 10-year lifespan to them. So you go buy them on the shelf, you put them up, you don't have to change your 9-volt batteries, you don't have to do anything. And in 10 years, it starts beeping and says, hey, this is the end of my life, and you take it down and you go get a new one. So working smoke detectors is, like I said, it is the number one life-saving tool in the house in the event of a fire.
So where do the smoke detectors need to be installed? What areas of the house?
Yep, so we try to avoid the kitchen. So that when mom burns dinner,
or dad,
that it's not right, exactly, so that it's not setting off for no reason. So in the bedrooms and outside of every sleeping area. So if you have like a hallway that services 3 or 4 different bedrooms, that would be outside of the sleeping area, and then at least one on every level of the home.
Okay.
And that's the perfect ideal textbook answer for where you want smoke detectors.
What
else? We're fast approaching holiday seasons. People frying turkeys. We always stress don't fry frozen turkey. Make sure it's completely thawed. Oil and water don't mix. We've run many a fire over the years from people trying to fry frozen turkeys. Christmas right around the corner. If you have a live Christmas tree, make sure you keep it watered. That is a big deal. The difference between how a well-watered Christmas tree and a dry Christmas tree burn is astronomical.
Speaking of dry, we've had a lot of dry weather and leaves are everywhere.
Yes.
And that can cause outside fires.
It absolutely can, and we've seen some. We've seen a slight uptick, I'd say, over the last month. It has not been as astronomical as some years when we have full-blown drought conditions, but we've seen a few, and hopefully we'll get a little rain here and there and keep that lower as low as we can.
What about, Chief, a escape plan for families in their home?
Right. So one of the things that we stress when we go visit schools and school children, is we say, hey, you do fire drills at school. Why don't we do fire drills at home? Because you're way more likely to have a fire at home than you are at school. So the acronym for that nationally has been put out is EDIT, exit drills in the home, and that's one of the stressors that we do is we try to say, hey, look, make it fun, have fun with it, have your kids lay in the bed and push the button on your smoke detector and make it beep and make them roll out of bed and crawl to a door or crawl to a window, and two ways, no two ways out of every room kind of concept. Just to get kids and adults thinking, what ifs? What would I do if there was a fire in my home?
Yeah, a lot of times, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you're awakened and there's fire and there's smoke and you're disoriented. It's good to have a plan.
100%. And something else that is a big national push right now is the mantra, close before you doze, meaning close your door when you go to sleep.
Why?
And what that does is it isolates your bedroom or where somebody is sleeping from the most, because the chances are, not 100%, but the chances are the fire's not going to start in your bedroom.
Right.
The chances are it's going to start surrounding, either be the kitchen with a cooking fire, which is something we kind of see commonly around here, or something that is, an electrical malfunction with a piece of equipment.
Right.
So if you close your bedroom door, you are isolating where you are from where the most likely source of the fire is. And number one, that gives you more time to react before, as you said, smoke and fire and heat and everything else gets to you. It also, in the event that you're unable to get out, it gives us more time before you're overcome by those fire conditions to get there and actually, get inside and help you.
Yeah, and what I read, most fire deaths are actually caused by smoke inhalation.
Without question. The toxic fumes and the heat that the fire puts out, the byproducts of combustion, that you're overcome by that long before the actual flames ever get to you.
Yeah, and we have, I know in our home, you got all these cans of cleaning stuff and all that kind of stuff. You got it all together right there, and you have any kind of fire, those things are going to explode, and very, very serious thing. One thing I want to talk about too this morning, Chief, is we're changing seasons. We're getting into colder weather. It's coming soon. What are some tips about making sure we're fire ready in the wintertime season? Yes,
so that was absolutely something else that I was hoping to hit on this morning. As it gets colder, wood burning fireplaces. Make sure you get your chimneys cleaned. It's, again, kind of like smoke detectors. You have it, you know it, but you just never get around to doing it.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal, and that's kind of a personal note. Many people know that my in-laws' house burned 2 years ago. That started as a fireplace fire. So it can happen to anybody. And then space heaters is another big thing we hit on. Want to make sure that you keep all combustibles at least 3 feet away from a space heater or from a gas heater. So piles of clothes or whatever laying on the floor, just make sure they're away from the heater. And then make sure that you plug your heaters directly into the wall socket. Don't use a power strip. They're not rated for the kind of amperage that those heaters pull. So plug it straight into the wall. And I say it almost every time we have a conversation, right? We don't want people to be cold. We don't want people to not utilize the tools at their disposal. We just want you to be safe when you do it.
Yeah, and another item is extension cords. Sometimes I'll go into homes in my business and I'll see extension cord just strode everywhere.
Right, and the rule of thumb there is you don't want to use extension cords in place of permanent wiring. Is kind of the idea. Again, they're a great tool to use when you need them, but if you can afford to find a way to plug something directly into the wall, that's what the wall socket is made for.
Yeah, and if people have questions, Chief, about fire safety, I'm sure you guys would be happy to talk to them.
Yeah, absolutely. We again, going back to what I said at the beginning, our vision statement, excellence and efficiency in public service, it doesn't say excellence and efficiency only when there's a fire or only when there's a car wreck. It's any time the public needs to be served. Yeah. We do our best to make that happen.
So what is on tap for the fire department as far as, we're always needing equipment, and whatever business you're in, equipment is certainly at the top of the order of needs. What type needs do you have with the fire department?
So, We really are very blessed on that front compared to a lot of departments. You know, we have the new truck coming hopefully towards the end of next year. The brand new truck. We you know, this council has been good to help help us fund a lot of that, and we're trying to stay on top of those things. Of course, they're long processes. They take you know. You want to snap your fingers and make it happen, and that's just not how it works. You know, we have you know, I have money in my budget request to continue to upgrade and add and replace out of date equipment. So all that's on the table. But you know, when somebody calls 911 and the guys in the fire department have to go, you know, we have what we need to get the job done, and we have the personnel in place to get the job done. That's the most important thing.
Fantastic. Chief, thanks for coming by this morning. Chief, Sylacauga Fire Department Chief Nate Osgood. It is National Fire Prevention Week. Chief, always good to see you, sir.
Thank you.
More Daybreak coming up. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you again next week.